My name is Joe. These are just opinions. I am Joepinionated. Today on Joepinionated List, movie edition, I'm counting down the top 5 movies from Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson was born in Houston, Texas on May 1st, 1969. He graduated from high school in 1987, and the school he graduated was featured in the movie Rushmore. He was university roommates and friends with Owen Wilson. Bill Murray has been in almost all of his movies. I think I got into Wes Anderson from Rushmore. I specifically remember seeing Royal Tenenbaums in the theater, and I remember not liking it one time and then really liking it another time. Wes Anderson's directed quite a few amazing movies. Definitely comes down to personal preference with him because a lot of them are masterpieces. They're perfectly shot, framed. It's a Wes Anderson movie. Incredibly funny, witty stories, tales. Some of the best movies ever made. I don't dislike any of his movies. He's put out a lot of movies, and I like them all from the first one to the last one. At number 5, I'm going with the movie Bottle Rocket from 1996. This was his big debut. It wasn't a commercial success at all. I think it was sort of a failure in a sense. I just happened to watch this one a long time ago, just trying to nerd out. I'm pretty sure with my buddy Scott. It was so different, just that style of comedy. Owen and Luke Wilson in this movie. Bottle Rocket, number 5. And here's the thing, I think this list is only interesting because I'm doing the top 5. I'm doing all the movies ranked, who cares? The best 5, the 5 that I'd want to watch. Desert Island. Number 4 all-time Joepinionated List. This one was placed on there recently because I just watched it. To make this list, I had to close out the list, and this is the one I watched. From 2021, the movie is The French Dispatch, a collection of short stories, or 3 parts. I prefer the Benicio del Toro part. Love Benicio. Big fan ever since The Usual Suspects.
I flip him for real.
Number 3 all-time Joepinionated List. This one's my son's favorite, and at one time it was my favorite too. From 1998, the movie is Rushmore. I didn't know until doing the reading for making this that was his high school that he went to, and featured in the movie, which is pretty cool. This is Jason Schwartzman and Bill Murray at their absolute best. So funny. Just absolutely hilarious. This old guy friends up with this forever student type. This is a huge smash success, critically acclaimed cult classic, Rushmore. From 2014 comes number 2 all time on the Joepinionated List for greatest Wes Anderson movies. We're counting down the top 5. The movie is The Grand Budapest Hotel. Wes Anderson just knows how to tell a story, and you know what? That's what a movie is. And there's only so many great directors. This is definitely one of the greatest directors of the last however many years since he's been doing it. So 30 years. It's one that you can get into even if you're not a super movie aficionado. Some Wes Anderson movies take patience. The greatest thing about a Wes Anderson movie is that they can be somewhat different every single time that you watch it. There's so much going on. You're never going to catch everything, but the cool thing about a Wes Anderson movie is that there's, you're getting dropped off at the top of the mountain and you got a million different roads down it. Honorable mentions, number 10 is Isle of Dogs. Number 9 is Moonrise Kingdom. Number 8, sorry guys, Darjeeling Limited. Number 7, and I got the soundtrack over here, and all of the soundtracks are incredible to his movies, really cool. And this one, though, is my favorite. The soundtrack to my number 7 movie, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. This movie is incredibly funny. It doesn't make the top 5 because the story, I don't know, it just doesn't make it the whole way through for me. The soundtrack, though, is this guy is Soy George, and I don't know how to pronounce it properly, in Brazilian Portuguese, I guess it is. He was in another movie called City of God. He played Knockout Ned in that movie. And that's probably my favorite foreign language movie ever. It's definitely in my top 5. Soy George also does the soundtrack to Life Aquatic. He's covering a bunch of David Bowie songs. Life on Mars, his version is just my favorite version of Life on Mars, which is an absolute classic standard by David Bowie. Number 6 for me is The Fantastic Mr. Fox, based on, I think it's Roald Dahl, right? I battled a lot with this not being number...
Who cares what I think about Bucket List? I had these inner battles, trying to make the list.
Show your kids and at the same time enjoy it yourself. It's like kind of meant for adults. Kind of like Ratatouille. I don't know if you saw that. Number 1 all-time Joepinionated List Wes Anderson movies is The Royal Tenenbaums from 2001. This movie, I can't remember if it was the first time or the second time that I saw it. It was really depressing, and then it kind of went back and forth for a little bit for me, but I just loved it. The funny part so much that I kept kind of going back to it anyways, because it's just so funny. I only get funny out of it these days, so that's a good sign. This is his greatest movie, I think. I mean, I think of the other ones, I think Grand Budapest Hotel, I was surprised a lot of people. Darjeeling Limited, I gotta watch it again. It was just sort of I don't know what it is about that movie. I just tried so many times and couldn't love it, but maybe I'll watch it again. But this one, Ben Stiller, look at all these guys. Bill Murray, Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson, Gwyneth Paltrow. The first thing I think of is Luke Wilson and his freak out on the tennis court. And just how incredibly good and original this movie, how
Funny it is, man.
Gene Hackman is so good in this movie. I can't see anybody not liking this one either. Number 1 with a bullet is Royal Tenenbaums. This one, the soundtrack's featuring like Nico. In Rushmore, it was like the Kinks and Cat Stevens and that sort of stuff. This has been another Joepinionated List. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. It's really easy to do. Figure it out. I'm sorry I'm a little low on facts and high on opinions.
My days are all filled up with filler, and the cold at night is a killer. And when the boredom hits me, and it does, I get into the drugs, and it's like, why?